It's about the girl in school.
All right, we're recording.
Yes, he should have been fired.
Usually,
Flipped her desk. That one.
Oh, you mean that video was on Facebook?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't care. He was not wrong. I don't believe he was wrong. Listen to me now. The girl was in school.
She was
for 3 days. She'd been disrupting the class. She done cussed out the teacher. She done cussed out the principal.
I thought they said she was quiet. I heard she was a quiet student.
She wasn't quiet. I don't know what kind of student she was, but those 3 days she was hell. Really? And she the phone in the classroom. She's on the phone, which is not even supposed to be in the classroom. Right. First of all, and totally she's on the phone talking. Yeah, she's disrespecting the teacher. The teacher can't teach the class. Right. Okay. Now, when he slid her across the room, she was clinging onto the desk. She would not let go. That's why he was jerking her and slid her across. But even the police officer, she swung on him. She's still acting a fool. And instead of getting up, when the police officer give you a command, what are you supposed to do?
Obey it.
Do what
That's
it says.
right. When the teacher tell you to do something in classroom, what are you supposed to do?
Do it.
When the principal tell you to do something, what are you supposed to do?
Do it. Of course.
I mean, the police officer, he shouldn't have never even been called if she would have done what she was supposed to do.
That shouldn't have gone to that
think
point.
the lack of disrespect for authority the kids have these days is unreal.
It is bad.
It's unreal, and it's across the board.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is across the board. And when we let them get away with doing things like that, it's teaching them that they can do whatever they want to.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want to, whenever they want to.
Yeah.
Who do they have to listen to?
Yeah.
They don't have to listen to the police. They don't have to listen to the teachers. Later for the principal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is it teaching them? And we jump on the police officer who was called to do his duty. They called because she was disturbing the peace. That is disturbing the peace. I don't care how old she was. She was disturbing the peace. And where was her parents that they couldn't get for 3 days?
Well, that's the root of the whole problem right there, is because when there's no authority enforced in the home,
right,
kids will grow up thinking that they can run game like that. They go out in the world, and because they didn't learn it at home, they're not going to be doing it out there.
I'm telling you, everything just in the Bible says it'll be turned. Good will become bad, and bad will evil will be good. What it will run amok.
Yeah.
And that is what we see.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
That is what we see with this generation.
It's just shocking to me, though, that when I was growing up, they didn't have police in the schools.
He wasn't in the school. They had to call him.
No, but he was.
He
was in the school. He's a regular guard. He wasn't an actual police officer. He was like a permanent security personnel. I don't think he was an actual police officer.
He was a police.
He was a police officer, but he was stationed at the school.
This is like a rural.
So it wasn't. It was the teacher or the cop that grabbed the
cop.
kid.
The cop.
She wouldn't listen to the teacher. She wasn't afraid of the teacher.
She
wasn't even afraid of the police officer. And when he came and he grabbed her,
he flipped her desk. He flipped her desk.
She went.
Pretty shocking.
Yeah, it went backwards because she was holding on and she would not let go.
Yeah.
She was clinging on to that thing for dear life.
All right,
Will. I don't care.
All right, Will looks like he's really got something to say, so I want to hear this.
It's not like she was sitting. Now, if she was sitting there doing her work, doing what she was supposed to do, do you think the teacher would have asked her to leave the classroom if she was obeying the following? Do you think the principal would have asked her to leave the school?
So you got to do something.
Did she get suspended or expelled or anything?
Well, who knows now?
She got charged. She got charged.
She's suing the school now, and I guess her mother got her with all kinds of wraps and bandages, looking like the mummy now, because I'm pretty sure they're going to sue.
Looking like she got beat down. Yeah, and she didn't suffer. She might have got a rug burn, I think.
And something else I saw on TV, and I was so appalled. I mean, I was sick. I got to get back in church because these shows are just crazy.
You do.
This woman sits there with her daughter. Her daughter is like 18, 19 years old. They're prostituting. They're call girls. The mother is doing it. She's got her 2 daughters, beautiful girls, for the college athletes, and they claim that what's his name, Rick Pitino.
Yeah, Rick Pitino.
Yeah, they said he knew about it, and this woman, the mother, wrote a book, and it's not about it. It's not all about the money.
Hey, watch it.
But it's I could not believe this woman they have on TV with her daughters. And they're just talking all about, all the stuff, the parties, and I mean, she act like she was proud, and she wrote a book, and she have her 2 daughters. I almost rolled out of the bed on my bed knee.
Watch it again, Eugene.
I'm telling you.
Watch it again, just so we don't get anything misconstrued, because
Can I get bigger?
Remember, this was 3 days of her not listening.
the voice of truth.
3 days of her not listening. Of her not.
Right.
All right,
So, you see, she would not let go of the debt.
Okay, so all right.
Could there have been another way to?
Oh yeah, she did. Eventually, he had.
Okay, so all right. I would just. I know. I've spoken and did the illustration thing, so I've talked a lot already. But see, the reason why I went back to the Bible because I thought you were getting so tired of having these disagreements, and then you brought us right back here.
I'm just saying.
This worked for old time's sake.
I guess so. Once for old time's sake. So let's do it as only true speakers can. I guess.
The was doing his job.
Okay, Mom. You stated your case. Now let me just say something in the nicest, most respectful way possible. If I said to you, Mom, I do not like you, or even took a cup of water and dumped it over your head, would that give a police officer right to come in here, drag me out, put me in an electric chair, and electrocute me?
She wasn't electrocuted.
But you're missing the point. The point is that a punishment should fit the crime.
For you doing that to me, your mother?
And
I don't know, maybe.
And on top of that, it is not a police officer's job to extract punishment. It is a court of law
He was trying to take her
punishment.
out of the classroom. She was clinging to the desk and would not let go. That's why he kept jerking and pulling on her and struggling to get her off. Because she was holding on to that seat and that desk.
All right. Well, what I'm wondering is, number one, just watching the video now, I think, they could have at least found like another way to take her out.
The teacher has asked her for 3 days.
All right, well,
3 days.
Hold on a second. So the cops, about 3 times the size of this girl.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it would be that hard to, drag the desk out of there or something, without throwing her across the room or finding, I think they should be trained for something like that. But the other. So that's number one, but also I guess kind of like commenting on what you just said, Will, that a police officer's job's not to give punishment. That's the court's job. But don't you? You'd agree, right? Like if someone was shooting at you, or obviously in a different situation than this, you'd have to. I don't know if you'd call it punishment, but you'd have to do or if they were attacking someone.
Maintain order.
Yeah.
And present and bring safety. Number one, that girl was not a threat to anybody's safety, and she was not a threat.
No, she was a disruption.
Yes, she was a disruption. When did it become okay to physically assault people who are a disruption in class? I remember I used to get suspended. That's what I thought. I thought I would get.
I've never seen anyone
I've
dragged
seen
across
teachers.
the room.
Tossed across the room.
I've seen teachers taken by the the thing that they
The
call
nape of
her,
the neck.
and the collar, the clothes, and
Oh,
walk
yeah.
them down to the principal's office.
Mhm.
I've seen that several times,
Yeah.
and even then, that was force, but they
They
went.
submitted to it.
They went, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Right.
They went.
So I
No,
guess
it's just-
the thing we'd probably all agree on is that something had to be done.
That's right.
no matter what. But I guess the way I'm looking at it, and I think the way you're looking at it too, Will, is that they could have done it another way.
All of that was
doing
unnecessary.
that.
That would be the equivalent of if my daughter came home and told my wife, shut up, no one likes you. Me walking up to my daughter and punching her dead in her face.
She
That would be
deserved
the
it if she wouldn't told
And there it is.
She would
And
have
there it
deserved
is.
Doggone it. She gonna come home
A
and
300-pound man punching a teenager in her face.
Well,
A 15-year-old girl in her face with full force. That is what she thinks is okay.
That's an
Let me
Must
tell
be
you
a
something.
generational
In the Bible days, they used to take them kids outside the city and stone them.
I know.
Stone them. That's right.
Stone them.
That's right.
Stone that
I
girl.
think lack of discipline.
That girl would have been stoned a long
We've gone
time ago.
away from lack of discipline.
She just better be grateful she's not living in ancient Israel. Tom.
Tom, did
She
you
just
see that
better be
video?
glad she's not my daughter.
No, I can't say that I did.
What? What was the question?
I asked Tom if he saw the video.
Oh.
Okay, so he flips. First off,
Tom.
oh my goodness,
Girl
Mom, let
holding
me.
on to the Papa's grabbing her.
No, Mom.
And she's holding
Yeah,
on
Mom.
to the thing.
Flipped it right over.
In the thing with him pulling on her,
Mom.
the desk flips,
Mom.
right? But
Yeah.
she's still holding on. He's
For the
trying to
record, if
detach-
there's any exaggerations,
He's
I
trying-
have the video.
He's
So
trying to detach her, and she's holding on to the desk.
okay,
That's why he's pulling her.
wrong. First, I don't know where she gets that from, but if you remember earlier, and I have it recorded, she said she hit him. That's what
did.
She did not hit him.
Yes, she
This
did.
is what he did. He walked up to her. He put his arm around her neck with one hand, other hand grabbed her by the wrist, pulled up, and as soon as she jerked a little bit, he flipped the table over completely. And then the whole table, she went backwards. And the desk that you would sit in the chair, and it would come. The desk would come around the arm like that.
Yeah.
And the whole desk flipped over. And then after that, he grabbed her and then flung her across the room. And then ran and put his knee on her back and said and cuffed her.
Cuffed her.
That's how they
crazy.
And you know what? Yeah, that's how they cuff hardened criminals, not
That's how they cuff
teenagers,
people.
not children. So this,
Tom, 3 days she was in the class acting crazy and not
but
obeying.
that
3 days.
See, you know what it is? Is
Of
we're
your
trying to go.
child missing an education that you're sending them to school for.
Yeah.
The teacher cannot teach because this
We're going
class
to
clown
extremes.
is in there.
My mother's going to extremes.
No, it's not.
Well, I think that.
For them to call the police, you think
They
they
didn't call the police. She was in the police officer was in the school. They didn't. No one dialed 911.
They called him in there.
Yes, they called him in the
But
room.
He was
Yes.
already stationed there.
Yes. So and you know what? And this brings up
He had a
another issue.
reputation, too.
Yes. This brings up another issue about police officers in the school. I just graduated from the police academy this past Thursday.
I don't like
so
that.
I don't hate police officers. But here's the thing. Police officers are trained to deal with criminals that have guns, criminals that are larger than them, criminals that can inflict a lot of damage on them. So to take those same police officers who are used to dealing with a lot of trauma and violence like that, and then put them in school where kids are misbehaving. You expect them to treat a misbehaving kid differently from a hardened criminal? No, they're going to treat him and apprehend him the same way, and that's not right.
We're talking about the high schools of today. We're talking about the high schools of today.
You know what? She is partially right. I agree with her on some of that.
The reason why they have to have policemen stationed in the schools, first of all, is because they do come to school with weapons.
Well, North High was a good example of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and how many people in North High got shot? In North High?
How many people in North High is now over there in Walpole from North High?
I don't know, but it's not from doing anything in North High. Why are you putting a police officer in school if there's no school shootings? Nobody's getting killed in schools. See, that's the misconception. They say,
No,
the
kids
kids are misbehaving.
The boy just got through stabbing, 6 people in school the other day?
Wait, when did this happen?
Yeah, it was. I just heard it
That
on
was
the
on
news.
college. That was in a college campus outside, and that was a fight. That was not in a high school that was a college campus in California.
The high school where the boy made the bomb and Obama
Could make the bomb.
And he got invited to the White House by our president.
He made a clock. It wasn't a bomb.
Yeah.
It was a clock.
Yeah, and they thought everyone freaked out and overreacted to the situation.
No, they didn't overreact.
Just like that officer overreacted by flipping the girl over and dropping the elbow on her.
You must not have
Getting back to
coffee
that, I
that
think that one thing I can't get away from is if this girl was disrupting the class for 3 days straight, then the teacher screwed up, because in the classroom, it's up to
shouldn't have let
the
her
teacher
back
to
in.
maintain authority.
Yep.
Because I know, well, I'm kind of dating myself here, but when I went to school, it was starting to go downhill a bit. You know, I mean, it wasn't like the Leave It to Beaver generation. I mean, I just missed that. But they knew how to get kids in line. And
They did.
Then again, you were
nobody
dealing,
would
you
ever
know,
have had a kid in class that was 3 days in a row that much
No
of a
way.
disruption.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's
So,
like half
would
of
have been
it.
suspended.
Yeah.
I think the other half, though, is we're dealing with stuff today that it's going to take a lot
here.
more.
Yep,
work.
there are gangs, and there have been a lot of gang shootings, but not in the schools. So Joy,
They have fights in school. They happen so frequently now.
Yes, because when I went to school, there were never any fights in school.
But what I'm saying,
Good thing those cops saved me.
William, other people are allowed to have opinions.
Joy, I swear, I brought a biblical study, and we were in the Word, and I brought nothing up. I didn't even say the word race. I didn't even want to talk about race and right.
This has nothing to do with.
Oh yes, it most certainly. You want to know what? If that was a white girl, I'm gonna tell it in front of you. If that was a white girl in that seat, that officer would not have treated her that way. I said.
Got really quiet.
I don't care if she was polka dot. My point is the lack of respect for authority that teenagers have now.
Yeah,
That's my
something's got-
whole thing.
Yes,
the lack
I
of
agree.
authority.
So we all agree
Yep.
that something has to be done about that.
But something, an appropriate
It's a bit
response
of a
has to be
reflection on
done.
the
Question
teachers,
is,
because the
how
fact
do we
that
do
the
it?
cops were called in from, or whoever
I mean,
was from
teachers-
the outside, they had to get control back because the teacher couldn't do it.
My niece teaches 5th grade, and she's and you know what she said? Some of the language, and some of the language you hear, in school, and you can't do nothing about it. You can't even yell at the kids because they go home and get their parents today, and the parents come to school and they want to cuss the teachers out and want to fight the teacher.
Let me tell you something. That was my daughter in that chair that got flipped around like that. Joy, what would you have been okay with it if Sky would have gotten flipped around in the chair like that and tossed across the room?
There will be 2 questions.
Yep.
I want to hear what was said first. What transpired, because all you see is what the part that they want you to see.
Yeah, you don't see her swinging on the cop.
You don't see the end. No, I'm not saying he was right, because he was wrong. Nobody's gonna lay a hand on my child but me. And she wants me to. But if she dared to raise her hand to a police officer, that police officer better have thrown her on the floor and put her in handcuffs.
The only way that video would have been appropriate is if she had a gun on her. That's the only way. I don't care what was said before. I don't care what was said before then either.
So the police should have just gotten beat. Supposed to let her swing on him.
Mom, the girl didn't swing on her. The video shows the officer.
They didn't.
Yes, they did. I'll get the video. The video clearly shows the officer walking up towards her, and he says, "Are you going to get out of your seat?" And she says, "No." And then he grabs her.
Y'all find Hal Lindsey's thing there. He was just on was it Sunday night?
Daystar or
If Hal Lindsey was okay with that video and doesn't think nothing's happened to that officer, Hal Lindsey is a fool. You heard it here.
Really, Hal Lindsey said it was okay, huh?
Did he say it was okay?
He said it was appropriate.
Well, appropriately how, Lindsay?
When he told her to get up and leave the classroom, she did not. She continued to talk on her phone.
So she should have gotten suspended. Did she get their suspensions?
Well, then the you know what? He didn't see her on the phone and then just come in and just single her out. He was called to do a job, remove her from the classroom. She did not get up and go voluntarily, so he had every right to use whatever force necessary to get her out of
here. Should he have tased her? Would it have been okay if he tased her?
He didn't tase her.
So you just said any force necessary. Any.
But what was it necessary to use that?
Yeah, because she didn't get up and go out voluntarily. When he told her, when the teacher told her, for 3 days she didn't do what she was supposed to do.
Yeah, but he could
3 days.
Could have done it another way. I don't know. So
I would have put her in the arm lock.
Even if he would have like pulled her and grabbed her and all that, he didn't have to flip her over.
What if she was that girl in that other video that you saw?
I listen. If all I know is if that would have been Sky in that desk, that officer would not be alive today. I would be in jail for murder. That's just the way it is.
And you know what? Sky would be trained to for Thugs R Us.
I didn't say what the officer said. What the officer did.
That's what she would be trained to Thugs R Us.
However, our children are being raised in a society of the parents saying, "Not my child, not my child." When I can tell you 99% of the time, it's probably one of my children.
Okay, I agree.
I'm not saying that what the officer did was right in any ways. However, we don't know the beginning of the video.
It's not necessary.
Yeah, we don't have footage of the 3 days she acted the fool and all the stuff she did. So let's say Scott was on the street and walked by the police yelling, "Pig, pig," 3 days in a row. And the third day she walked by and went, "Pig."
She assaulted a police officer.
She sure as stuff should have been knocked down.
So if they threw her on the ground and handcuffed her and threw her in the thing there, that would be wrong.
Remember.
I'm sure this whole video is on tape, but they're only showing you the pieces to make it look
It doesn't matter. All that matters is that he walked up to her and asked her calmly, "Are you going to move?" She said no. She didn't say pig, pig. She didn't put her hand in his face. She didn't hit him.
She cussed him out.
No, she didn't.
She cussed him too.
She didn't cuss him. He just said, "Are you going to leave?" And her response in a low tone.
She said, no. "I don't give a f about who you call." Yeah, she did.
All right, let's
she was talking much trash.
Okay.
Is there a voice?
When they first told her that the police was coming, she was mouthing off.
Will, are you pausing this? Because I can make a sound over on anything.
What do you think,
Just like the Drake video.
I'll have to look at that again.
Okay.
The Guardian, the whole picture.
All right, so the police officer's approaching her.
Yep.
And
I don't see her swinging.
You probably know, not on this. You ain't gonna see it because this is what they want you to see.
Okay.
When the video starts, she was clinging on to the desk.
All right, yeah, let's watch it close. I can't believe we're talking.
No, find another video.
well, it was one of those kind of desks that she couldn't actually have gotten out of anyway.
Yeah.
Not like that. Nope.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a separate desk and chair.
No, it was one unit, and
He just flung her.
Yeah.
Do you think that was appropriate, Tom?
To treat a 16-year-old girl of 15 or whatever.
3 days.
What's it again?
She was acting a fool in the classroom.
Okay, she didn't. Now, as you see, her hand is still right there. She does not swing at him at all. She doesn't hit him.
They don't show it in this video, but she did swing on him, Tom.
He was further than the arm's length away. It was impossible for her to swing on him unless she has Inspector Gadget arms. Look at him. Where is she swinging on him at?
They're not gonna show it there.
That was all there was, though. I mean,
No.
well, I don't have any opinion about that. But once again, it gets back to the fact if the teacher had done something sooner, none of this would have happened.
I know it.
But what can the teachers do? Even my niece says she can't do
not
anything.
allow her into the classroom. Just say, listen, I'm telling you right now, before you set foot in this classroom, if you disrupt it, you can't come in. Or if she did it the first day and I would just not have let her back into the room.
She should have been suspended.
She should have been suspended.
And not allowed back in. Yep.
Yeah. My niece Kendra, my niece Kendra that goes to the church.
Yeah.
Ask her about some of the kids in the classroom sometimes.
And they're unruly.
So Kendra's your niece?
Yeah.
With the little daughter there?
Yeah, the two little girls, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's my brother Kenny's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
She's
they could
a
be
nice
a piece
girl.
of work, but I know how they handle
And not just that, I'm talking about the little ones in training too.
Yeah.
She talks about, and I know because I walked down to the school for my hairdresser, don't look at my head now, to pick up her son. And I'm telling you, the little kids be out there, their socks are falling down in their shoes. They cussing like truck drivers.
I know, it's
What grade are we talking about now?
This is remember the little socks, the little girls with the lace around it, the little patent leather. Yeah, the little kindergarten.
About fourth or fifth grade, even at Burncoat Prep, I do the PTO, and I like go in there and I help like with moving stuff or popcorn and things like that for the school. A lot of those kids, they come from single family, not good parented homes, and the kids are unruly, and they definitely need to be held accountable. They need to be educated, but you don't not to be flipped over on their heads and tossed across the room. That's all.